It is a great honor for me to introduce you and give you a little insight into the Raytown Central Middle Teacher of the Year this morning. I'd like to start by sharing a little story about Michelle. Michelle Rose is our teacher, by the way. I met Michelle about 2.5 years ago when we had an opening, an English opening, so Michelle thought, but really it was a special education English opening. And I have this habit sometimes when it's hard to find really good special education teachers and we go into an interview, I will say to my team, hey, if I think they might be a good fit for this position, just go with me, okay? And they'll say, okay. And so Michelle came in and interviewed, and I just saw a special component to her that really spoke to me of she's gonna be a great fit. So when I called and offered her a position, I said, so I need to tell you, this isn't just an English position, it would be an English position working with our special education students, primarily in a CWC environment. And there was a silence on the other side. And I said, so would you be interested in that? And she said, well, something to the effect of, can I talk to my husband about that? I don't know. Because see, before that, Michelle had been teaching high school English and then took some time off to homeschool her oldest daughter for a few years. So not only was I asking her to change grade levels, move away from what she knew, but I was also asking her to take on a whole new component of the world of special education, which if you've been in education for a while, you know involves a whole lot of paperwork. And I said, I promise we will not let you fail. And she's like, okay. So she said, can I call you in a couple days? And usually that means one of two things for me. It means I'm never going to hear from them again. Or they're going to call me and say, I have some more questions. I'm very, very fortunate to stand before you today and say, she called and said, I have a few more questions. The best part of this story for me, and one of the things that I think epitomizes why she is our Teacher of the Year, is not only did she take on a new challenge, but she went back to school to get a master's in special education. And she's going to graduate in May. So she lives in our community. She started her career in our community. She came back to our community and took on a whole new challenge. One of the other favorite parts of my story is she took on CWC with one of my gen ed teachers that does not like to give up control of her classroom very well and has forged an amazing co-teaching experience with 8th grade English and with differentiated reading. And so for those reasons and many, many more reasons, I'm excited to introduce to you Michelle Rose as the Raytown Central Middle Teacher of the Year.